Welcome back to the Mr. Verzace podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Verzace himself, Rick Verzace, and joining me today, Olympic silver medalist, former WBO world champion, and he's coming in with a new team, a new outlook, a new trainer, a new weight division, and it's a new year. The businessman himself, Keyshawn Davis, and he returns to the ring January 31st against Jamaine Ortiz, the Ring 6, Madison Square Garden in New York City, live and exclusively on DAZN. Keyshawn, I was going to ask you, you're from Norfolk, where legends came from, like Pernell Whitaker. Both of your brothers got into boxing. But what specifically made you gravitate to boxing?
Honestly, me and my brothers was 9, 11, 7 years old, and what really made us fall in love with boxing is really just the traveling to different tournaments, seeing a whole bunch of kids our age, loving the sport as much as we loved it, and just really getting out of town and coming back with those trophies, coming back with those belts. You know, the traveling we fell in love with, and then, of course, the winning as well. So,
was there a moment where it came into your head, this is what I want to do, this is going to be my career path?
Yes, and that moment was in the 9th grade. I was a hell of a football player, but in 9th grade, I was still like 95 pounds. With equipment on, I was like 110. So I remember I was in my math class, my algebra class, and I text my mother, like, Ma, I'm just gonna, in the middle of class, I'm like, Ma, I'm just gonna box. I'm not gonna play football. Like, I know I can fight, and I know I can be great in boxing. So since 9th grade, I just was putting my all into it.
Now, during the pandemic, you went pro. You went 3-0, but then you decided to circle back because of a rule change to go into the Olympics. Talk about the mindset to go from pro back to the unpaid ranks and some of the issues you may have had to go through with USA Boxing.
It was a blessing, honestly. During COVID, I got put off the team for some COVID, like new COVID policies that I wasn't following, whatever. And, they put me off the team. And I didn't really care. I was ready to go pro anyways. I had a real big name in the amateurs. People have been following me since the amateurs. So I went pro. And I got the opportunity to work with Eddie Hearns. He put me on the Canelo card versus Yildirim. That was in Miami in a big stadium. And then my second professional fight, I went to Dubai, fought under the Jamel Hand versus Carl Frampton. And then my third fight, I fought in the Dallas Stadium when it was Canelo versus Billy Joe Sanders. So my first 3 professional fights was amazing, and it was amazing experiences. And then I got that call within my fight week in Dallas of the Canelo fight saying that I got a chance to get back on the team and go to the Olympics. So that came out of nowhere, and that was also a blessing. So I went to the Olympics, received a silver medal. And then, after the Olympics, I signed with Top Rank, and I had after the Olympics, I had another debut at the Madison Square Garden, and my career really kicked off there.
Now, in the Olympic finals, you met with Andy Cruz, and in the AIBA World Championships, you met with Andy Cruz, and I think also in the Pan Am Games, you also with Andy Cruz. It seemed like you two were the best in the world in whatever weight class that the two of you fell in. Is that, now that you're in different divisions, is that even still on your radar as some payback? Because you've always said, if we meet in the pro ranks, it's going to be a different story.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I know I want to fight him. I really do want to fight him. And whenever the time is right, we are going to fight. I don't know when we're going to fight. I don't know. I've been reaching out to really Eddie Hearns to see when we're going to make this fight happen. But nowadays, when me and Eddie Hearns talk, we talk like real big events. So I don't know where he's going to fall into that. But I would love to fight Andy Cruz, for sure.
I mean, he returns next week, going for a world title against one of your top-ranked stablemates, Raymond Murataya. How do you see that playing out? Because your name has been in the mix with both of those guys.
Right. It's funny. The media wants to see me in the ring with everybody.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, word. I love it. You know what I'm saying? But I see it playing out, be an amazing fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who wins that fight. I'm going to the fight. I'm just going to be a spectator there watching, and whoever wins, wins.
And in your career, you went pro, you got the medal. Then you went pro technically again.
Right.
It was almost like a reboot.
Right.
And then fast forward to February of 25, you win your first world title, Dennis Berinchyk in Madison Square Garden. What was that feeling like to get a title that early in your career? You've already, some guys, they don't win a title till they're in their 25th fight, their 30th fight, and you clinched it, I believe, in your 11th.
Mm-hmm. I'm blessed. I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed with God-given abilities. I'm blessed with just how I promote myself. I'm blessed with my family that have been pushing me and, keeping me focused on track. I'm blessed with my brothers, Kelvin and Keon, DB3, for us just fighting together and just helping me get to that level and keeping me focused while I'm in camp, sparring each other and stuff like that. So I just got to give all the praise and the glory to God, I'm blessed just to even fight in the Madison Square Garden for my first world title. It just shows the type of level that I'm on and where I'm going to take it to.
And now you're going back to the scene of the crime.
Right, on an even bigger platform. I'm blessed, man.
I know leading up to that fight, there was like a little bit of controversy. Somebody sent like a basket of fruit to your room, tried to get into your head. Initially, you thought maybe it was Berinchy's team. Then I know Teofimo took to social, kind of made it out like as if he had a hand in it. And I've talked to people who don't think he had a hand in it. They think he was trying to piggyback on it, on what happened. Did you ever find out, or your own investigations, in your own head, of who may have been responsible?
Right. What I take from that whole situation is people just want to see me down. People just want to see me frustrated. People want to see me not being who I am, which is the amazing Keyshawn Davis. And I'm gonna just keep being what they don't want me to be. It's just unprofessional that people would do a racist act like that. And I just got to take it as like people just want to see me down. So I'm going to give them the complete opposite.
And then, obviously, months later in the same year, scheduled to make your first world title defense with De Los Santos. You missed weight. It was a hometown defense, a big moment. Everything gets called off. What went, I guess, through your head in the aftermath? Because that's a lot to deal with, because you lost your title without even throwing a punch.
Right. What happened in the aftermath, I just did a lot of self-reflection. I took accountability for everything, said a lot of apologies, called people on the phone, met up with people. And, after I took full accountability in my private life, I just started moving forward also in my private life. Well, first thing first, I gave it all back to God as well. And he told me to take accountability. So that's what I did. And, once I started moving forward, it was just no stopping me.
And when you look back at the end of the year, obviously now it's a new year, a new page, you've revamped everything. How was it to work out like the highs and lows of the year? Because you had a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and now you're starting completely fresh.
Right. It's again, I'm blessed, man. Like everything that I did, been through from then to now, God steered me in the right direction. It was a lot of private time that I had with myself. It was times where it was, during that time, I wasn't even on social media. I wasn't thinking about no social. I wasn't even thinking about nobody but myself, because Keyshawn had to get himself better for God and for my son that I'm raising, So I just had to get myself back together. And then once I got myself back together, we here on this card, January 31st.
What did you learn about yourself, like when you went through that kind of adversity? Because some fighters don't mentally recover from something like that, and you seem to bounce back pretty quickly.
Right. Well, I'm a fighter that, already been through like mental health struggles, so like, again, I just had to look at myself again and just really like turn my faith over to God. I don't play about God, Jesus Christ itself. So I really just had to put my faith all into him, that he will bring me out of this darkness. Since I went pro, I could say like I was doing a lot of things on my own, which is, you never gonna get nowhere when you do things on your own, you know what I'm saying? So I really just had to take a step back from everything and just have that one-on-one with me and my God, so I can just be the better Keyshawn that I was promised y'all. And I'm back and better.
January 31st, Jamaine Ortiz, tough opponent. What do you know about Jamaine? I'm sure you've seen his fights. He's fought a few of your stablemates. And is there anything he brings to the table that concerns you?
He a fighter just like me. You know, he been doing this for a very long time, just like me. I would say the only big difference that we have is I had my Olympic run. I've been on the Olympic team since 2018, and I went to the Olympics in 2021. You know, I've seen a lot of styles overseas. I fought the toughest guys overseas, and now that I'm pro, I didn't have no cakewalk to get to this world title. Like, I was fighting guys that had over 30 fights, and I was like 6-0. You know, like, I was fighting guys that they thought I would never stop, and I actually stopped these guys. Limos, for example, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I ain't have no cakewalk in the amateurs, and I ain't have no cakewalk when I turned pro. So when we talk about Jamaine Ortiz, he just another opponent to me. He just another guy with another style that I seen before. And once I stop him, you know, the boxing world gonna be shocked again. But, you know, I'm just being me at the end of the day.
And I know for this return, you wanted all the smoke because there was talk initially of you and Richardson Hitchins. And I know the two of you had some heated words back at the press conference to announce this card. And I saw him and Shakur having some words on social where he said, you know, why didn't you accept the money? I think he might have said $2 million to fight Keyshawn. What exactly happened there? Were you initially thinking that would be the fight, and then things just kind of went sideways?
Well, when I signed with Jay, what I was telling Jay is I want to be on this card, and no matter how we get up there, just get me up there. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I know my worth, so I'm not gonna fight for nothing, basically. But that's what Jay did. Jay did his job of honoring my word because I wanted to be on this card. So Jay made sure I was on this card, no matter who was right there, no matter who I had to fight. I said, Jay, just make sure I'm on this card, and Jay Prince did that.
And circling back to Jamaine Ortiz, in a recent interview that he had with Andre Ward and Roy Jones, he said something to the effect of, well, Keyshawn's not even the best fighter I've ever fought. He's like, I fought Loma, I fought Teo, so I'm pretty confident I'm winning this fight.
You know, I love opponents like that, man. You know, I had one opponent that said, man, I'm guaranteeing I'm going to knock this kid out. And that actually turned out to be the toughest fight of my career, and it did nothing but get me better. You know what I'm saying? So, I expect the same thing out of Jamaine. He gonna come, he gonna, you know, be confident in himself as he should. You know what I'm saying? And after I knock him out, ain't gonna do nothing but get me better for the next stage.
Now, Shakur is one of your very close friends. He's headlining this card against Teofimo. He's going for his 4th divisional title and the ring title. And I know a lot has been made over the interview I did with Shakur and Teo, because Shakur said he would never fight you in the ring because the two of you were close friends. And you were actually in the room watching this play out with him and Teo debating over that. If you could, you know, explain to me, the people watching, why it's such a close relationship with Shakur, how you two of you hooked up and became close friends, and the reason why it means so much to you, that friendship, that the two of you will not trade punches in the ring.
Well, I could give you a real life example. When I was just out of boxing for this time frame, I would say, Shakur was one of the people that got me back into boxing. Like, when I was on my retirement rant and I didn't even know which direction of how I was gonna get back into the ring, Shakur helped me out just these few months ago. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he been a brother for me back then when I was an amateur, when I was down, and then when I was down again as pros, he was a brother for me then, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm fighting on his undercard, you know what I'm saying? So, and he didn't even really, like, I wouldn't say he ain't helped me get on this card. He literally just helped me get back in the gym. Like, Keyshawn, this is what you need to be doing. Like, get back focused on just training and just working, like, and put everything aside, you know what I'm saying? So, that's just one example I can give y'all, but that's the most recent example, you know what I'm saying? So how can I go against or fight somebody like that?
I know everybody has a magic number. I think somebody asked Shakur, is there a magic number when you'd fight Keyshawn? And he said, you put $500 million on the table, me and Keyshawn are fighting.
I agree.
I know when you were younger, I think you were maybe 16 at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a sparring session with Tank. Mm-hmm. Which I think you may have described in an interview that it almost turned into a street fight.
Yeah.
What was it like to be that young, sparring with a guy in the level of Tank? Because I know, based on that sparring session and how it played out, it made you very confident, where you came out and said, I think if me and Tank get in the ring, I'm knocking him out.
Well, it wasn't from that sparring session. It was a sparring session that me and him had in Floyd's gym that actually got me confident. Like, yo, I would knock you out. But shouts out to Tank, bro. I don't got nothing against Tank for real. He's a great fighter. I just know what I can do against him because of my own abilities, and also I've been in the ring with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's not nothing like. I don't want to just seem like I'm out here just talking trash about Tank. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I do come off like that, like I'm just talking trash about him. But I'm just confident in myself, and you know, he still is the top guy. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to me and him, I really think I would stop Tank. I would knock him out.
Now, you've kind of said, I think, or at least alluded to, that you're not in the long game for the super lightweight division, that you see yourself going to welterweight sooner than later. Is there like a timeline that you put on yourself of how many fights you're going to have at this weight? Is it, I'll win a title, then I'm heading up, or if the right fight comes along in the table, you're heading up?
Yeah, I would say that. Like, boxing is so like finicky. Like, one thing can happen and the next thing can happen. It's like, oh nah, that's not the best thing for me. It's this. You know what I'm saying? And things just can happen like within the time frames of, like, think about it like this. Let's just say Andy Cruz knocked bro out. Like, knocked Raymond Ortiz out. Like, okay, boom, now we can fight. Like, you just knocked Raymond Ortiz out. Like, forget that 147. Like, let's see how we can make that fight happen. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, whatever makes the most sense in that specific moment for the businessman, for the amazing, that's just what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's a lot of buzz between me and Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? And that's a mega fight for me. So it's like, why not go to 147? You know what I'm saying? And fight Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? But also, you got Dalton Smith. That's a brand new champion. He's 18-0 with 15 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? UK. And right now I'm 13-0 with 9 knockouts. After this fight, I'm gonna be 14-0 with 10 knockouts. So just a fight like that itself, you know, going to the UK, that sells too. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just be I just gotta weigh all my options, you know what I'm saying, after I knock Jamaine Ortiz out.
Were you surprised with the way the Dalton Smith fight played out? Because you've always said Ortiz is a good fighter, but he's very hittable.
If you want me to be real, bro, I didn't even watch that fight. I just seen the highlights. And I'm like, okay, bet, Dalton Smith, you lit. You got a good little record. You know what I'm saying? We probably can do something here. You know what I'm saying? I just seen the highlights. He's a great champion. He been around for some time. We all know him. It's not a mistake. He's 18-0. You know, knocking guys like Sabro out. Like, we been knew Dalton Smith. You know what I'm saying? So, hats off to Dalton Smith. You know, but you know, the businessman at 140 now.
If you could map out for yourself a perfect 2026, you'd get this win over Jamaine Ortiz. Is there a preference of how quickly you want to come back? And is there a preference of who you would want next? Would you want to jump right into a world title fight, whether it's Haney, whether it's Dalton Smith? What do you see for yourself as the businessman for a perfect 26?
The perfect 26, man, starting out January 31st, me knocking Jamaine Ortiz out. You know, I stand on it. Like, I'm trying to go in there and knock him out. I'm not playing with him. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot to fight for. January 31st. You know what I'm saying? Jamaine Ortiz, he's a hell of a fighter at the end of the day. And also, I've been out for some time. You know, so I can't just overlook Jamaine Ortiz. Like, Jamaine Ortiz is a hell of a fighter, and I got to go in there and knock him out, period. I'm not trying to go in there and have good fights with him like the Lomachenkos and the Teofimos of the world, because I've been out here saying that I'm better than them. So it's time for me to show that, January 31st.
Now, obviously, Shakur's in the main event, good friends of yours. And Shakur's the favorite for most people to win. Provided everything goes, anything could happen in boxing. But win or lose, does Teofimo factor into you as a potential opponent based on animosity, things that have been said in the past?
Shoot, if it make money, it makes sense. Shit, anybody can get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know me at this point. People know I talk a lot. I talk a lot of trash, but also people know I really do back it up at the end of the day. You know, and that's what it's all about. Can you back it up? And the businessman always back it up. You know, I'm 13-0. I done sold 10,000 tickets. I can sell, period. That's why, you know, the Devin Haney's of the world is now calling me out. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a name in this sport, you know, because of the charisma that I have, you know, because of just what I do, just what I bring, the energy that I bring, you know. And people going to see that January 31st when I step into that arena when I step into that press conference and that weigh-ins, people gonna be like, man, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Like, who is this guy? I really want to see him fight. He talks so much. I want to see him get knocked out. Or I want to see him this. I want to see him that. But at the end of the day, you want to see me. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, January 31st is gonna be my breakout. It's gonna be my breakout, and I'm gonna show y'all the amazing Keyshawn Davis.
And I know you've mentioned Haney's a possibility at 47, but another fight that was recently announced, Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. I know that could be another tempting possibility for you.
Yeah. Nah, man, honestly, like, the boxing world is starting to, like, transition over from the new school now to the old school. I mean, the old school now to the new school. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I just got to weigh my options, bro. Like, after I knock out Jamaine Ortiz, I'm going to weigh my options, and whatever makes the most sense, the businessman is going to jump right on that, for sure.
And that's a wrap for our latest episode of the Mr. Verzace podcast. I want to thank Keyshawn Davis for joining me on our latest episode, and catch him in action January the 31st, Jamaine Ortiz, live and exclusive on DAZN, the Ring 6, Madison Square Garden in New York. Get your tickets.